Alright, what's up y'all, it's LakerFan here. As I talked about title of today's video, here to showcase to you the best 6'11/70 ball handle dribble tutorial in NBA 2K23. Now, in today's video, as a lot of you guys know if you're clicking on this vid, it is extremely hard to find good SIGs as a big man in 2K23. It's very limited. This game has done a lot to cater to the 6'9 type builds as far as jump shots go, dribble animations, even the badge steering and stuff like that too. But in today's video, we're here to showcase the best animations for your 6'11 plus build in 2K23. So, as you can see, we're going to get straight into this stuff, and I hope you guys enjoy. What is a really nice perk about the 6'10 plus builds is that you get the Kevin Durant hop jumper. As you can see, you have to be at least 6'10 to get this, and anything above can. And as you can see as well, you have no ability to get a lot of the other hop jumpers between the good ones that let you get like really good dribble animations, like obviously James Harden is really nice to dribble with. Iverson is guard restricted as well, obviously, and then you got other things like Jason Tatum. Maybe even the Devin Booker is a really good one that the people who shoot with the hop jumpers like to use. But Kevin Durant is a huge addition to these big men as far as dribbling out of it and to shoot out of it too. It's why you really see people like Tonic and Joey killing it with these taller builds, because Kevin Durant is one of the best hop jumpers in the game. Now also, because I am Laker fan and I like to really put on for the slasher type builds, I want to explain to you guys the power of George Gervin layup style. Now as you can see, speaking of height restricted, you got things like long athlete that you would have to get at 88 driving layup to even get another layup package worth even considering. I don't think Joel Embiid is very good. I think it's actually pretty troll if you ask me. Default big, I know some people like this off like the shove away animations that you get out of it, but I still think this is a really bad layup animation. And besides that, you got everything else is 6'10 or below, or really under 6'10 I should say. Considering some of the best layup packages in the game, it's going to be things that are always below 6'10, so 6'9 to, you know, anything below that. So as you can see, once again, you have to be under 6'10 for things like Circus, Jelly, for Zach LaVine, one of my favorite layup packages in the game. But George Gervin is by far, in my opinion, the second best layup package in the game off the hops, spins, and euros that it gives you as far as something that you can actually lean on as a big man. Then, also, speaking of the best animations, we're here to just save you guys some time. So there's not a whole lot you can pick from as far as dribble moves go, but Pro, really good one right here. I know some people may want the Gabby Williams because it's the second best dribble animation in the game as far as dribble styles go. Some would argue. I would actually say LeBron is probably the second best dribble style, but regardless, it's either Michael Jordan or in some people's opinion it's Gabby Williams as well as the secondary if you're like a 6'9 that doesn't get 75 speed with ball for the MJ. But man, is Pro really good. I love this stuff for the 6'11 that I have right here, and I think it's very, very doable. Kawhi Leonard signature size up. You can see you have a couple things to pick from as far as this stuff goes. If you have decent ball handle from 65 to 70, or Luka once again being 70, Kawhi is going to be 65. So this actually works out even better for the majority of you guys who maybe don't have 70 ball handle. Maybe you're a 7-footer that has maximum ball handle you can afford, and I know for a fact that's about 69 ball handle. So you'd be short of the 70s that you'd be able to be supplied. But like I said, Kawhi, really good SIG size up. We're going to get into that in today's video as well. As you can see, if you have 70 ball handle, the LeBron size up escape package is always something you can depend upon. This is a really nice one. Obviously gives you the hop back, and it's not much more than the hop back, but that is still a nice staple in your dribble move as far as if you maybe have shooting on your 6'10 plus. Now, speaking of another 70 ball handle rating, we got the LeBron moving crossover. This is a huge one. I would argue it's the best dribble move you could possibly get as a tall build. I mean, this goes crazy as far as building up speed on downhill movement. We'll showcase it in today's video as well. If you guys didn't already check out the rec gameplay of me actually doing a lot of dribbling and dunking on this build, feel free to check it out from yesterday as well. But you could probably check that out after watching the vid of this stuff too. Now, for the behind the backs, you have absolutely nothing to pick from. It'd be so ideal if we were able to get things that were maybe even just decent. But as you can see, the majority of dribble moves that are actually worth even equipping are going to be ones that you can't even achieve unless you're 6'10 or below. So we have Pro that would be achievable at 6'10 because of the ball handle rating. Or we have Zach LaVine that you'd have to be 6'9 for. We got things like the Iverson and Damian Lillard where you're going to have to be very short as far as stuff like this goes. I mean, yeah, you can see it's height under 6'10, which a 6'9 could quote unquote get, but you have to be at least 6'7 to even have the ball handle rating that can achieve this. 6'8s and 6'9s can't even get it. So like I said, normal is what we're rocking with. It's not very good. It's very unfortunate that there isn't a good behind the back animation for bigs, but that's just the truth. And you will see, you can even still utilize it in a way, but not ideally. We'll kind of talk about a little workaround as far as that goes. But anyway, moving spin, we have Andrew Wiggins on. A lot of these are for downhill movement, like this Wiggins package, you can see not that animation, but this one popping up right here, it's really what I'm shooting for. I'm not much of a basic one spin guy because I don't really have a lot of, I actually have no shooting on this build, but if you are in a shooting build and you want to use the basic one spin, this is going to be a really good one for you as well because you can just bait the drive and then hit a little spin back I'm sure you guys have seen it off CZO's videos, off all types of stuff like that. It's one of the favorite dribble moves for people as far as moving spin goes, and you get it on a tall build too. So if that happens to float your boat and you're a little bit more of a 3 hunter, try the basic spin, try running downhill with it and spinning, and you'll just go backwards with it. You can shoot out of it. You can really just create space as a shooting build with the basic spin. But again, for me, I'm more so Andrew Wiggins because, again, it's something that I can at least utilize a tad bit with an inside build. Now, moving Hezzy, Larry Bird, it's literally all we can afford. If you can't afford anything good for this, who cares? It's not that good of a dribble animation. Moving step back being Jimmy Butler, this is one I kind of want to talk about a little bit. Now, this is a decent animation for actually getting this step back right here that you saw in that previous animation, where you can just get a nice little speed boost out of it. However, it's actually ironic that I didn't even have this purchased on this build. I thought all your animations just transfer over, but normal is an animation that I actually have been trying to use on my other build, and I want to showcase it to you guys in today's video. I don't have any gameplay that shows me using normal moving step back, but it's actually something I am going to showcase to you guys that you can utilize on these tall builds, and it's one of the best moving step backs in the game. It's called the Asta slide. It's going to be that animation right there. You flick down on your stick while moving forward, and it's going to give you a little bit of a crab animation, and I will showcase to you how you can utilize that as you're dribbling. So I actually love normal moving step back. If you want something that gives you something a little bit to speed boost out of, that's more stepping backwards as the dribble move quote unquote intends to do, then Jimmy Butler is probably more so your play for the step back animation right there that you can maybe speed boost out of. But that's our take on that. And then the Kobe triple threat, it's pretty much a staple for any build. If you ask me, it's the best one in the game. And I've tested these a good bit. There is maybe some justification for going with Zion. It's a little bit explosive, I would argue, but Kobe's more clean. You can depend upon it a whole lot more, and I just prefer this over anything. Now, that is all for the dribble moves, but we're going to hop in the Pro-Am Arena real quick and showcase to you a couple of my favorite ways to use these moves and really explain to you, especially the layup package too. I do want to put you guys onto this, but just to kind of showcase how to utilize these moves and when you would want to attack with them as well. Alright, so first of all, let's start with the animation that I actually didn't even have purchased on the build, because I actually do kind of want to see what it looks like on this build as well. But the Asta slide, it's the moving step back normal. All you got to do is run forward and hold down on, or flick down on your right stick, and as you can see, I mean, it's a really good animation. You're gonna be able to crab people off this. You can actually use it to just speed boost into that exact same hand you just switched it to. Once again, all you got to do this is run downhill, hold your right trigger and sprint, and you'll be able to just flick down on your right stick, and it will give you this animation right here. And again, you can just use it to like speed boost, change direction. It actually might be a really good sub for not having a good behind the back, because like I said, that's one of the big issues that I have with these tall builds, is you can't have anything that flips your ball hand quickly like that. It's the normal behind the back is really poor. I still utilize it sometimes if I want to flip ball hand and just kind of keep moving downhill, but as you can see, it looks horrible in my opinion. Now, with the LeBron moving crossover, as you can see, you're actually going to have a little bit of a snatchback game right here. It's nothing amazing, it's nothing beautiful, but if you hold your sprint button and flick up on the right stick, you will get this animation right here. What you don't want is to do only that. You want to make sure you're moving your left stick backwards when you flick up on the right stick, like this right here, and you'll get this animation that is the snatchback, is what we call it. So that's something that creates you a lot of backward space, and then off of that, you can go ahead and sprint to the ball hand, maybe hit like a moving crossover off of it, get down to the hoop. That's obviously what your build is more so intending to do, likely, if you are 6'10 plus, because you're probably, one of the perks that you have off being 6'10 plus is to have standing contact dunk packages for the bigs and stuff like that. Or maybe you want to utilize, let's say for instance, as well, the hop jumper. I mean, this stuff is actually pretty good at using it as a moving step back. You're gonna see I'm out of adrenaline right here, so we're gonna get a kind of garbage run, but I wanted to showcase this because I actually think the reason this is more justified to run the normal moving step back and not worry about having a step back animation that's worth doing is that you can just utilize this Kevin Durant hop jumper as a step back itself. You can see you can absolutely create good space, good run movement off of that, and it actually can be shot out of amazingly too. It's one of the best hop jumpers in the game as far as that stuff goes. Not to mention, there are a couple good animations out of the hop jumper to dribble out of as well. So we have the one where you'd flick up on your right stick or kind of hold up on the right stick. You can see it actually gives you some pretty good move speed out of it. And I really wanted to showcase this one because it's so fast at the speed boost out of it after it. Like, look at that. That's actually pretty good for being 6'10 plus and having, like, you know, 65 speed with ball and 70 ball handle. But anyway, another obvious staple would be this LeBron escape. All you have to do is hold your RT and flick down. You're obviously going to get this little hop back out of it. We all know this is good for creating space on the three-point line. You're going to do it from about, like, you know, a couple feet inside the three-point line right here to be able to get back to the three and shoot the ball. Obviously, like I said, I have default big on my big with 25 three-pointers, so we're not exactly taking those, but just wanted to showcase that. Now, again, one of the best downhill moves that I wanted to showcase to you guys is going to be this LeBron James moving crossover. This is really, really good at just giving you like speed boosting ability. Like you are moving down the court in a really quick burst that you wouldn't get off just sprinting downhill in general. And to do this is about as easy as anything will ever be in 2K23. You are just going to run forward, whether it's with sprint or without sprint, doesn't really matter, but you're going to flick up on your right stick and it just will switch the ball to that opposite ball hand. In this case, we're going to dribble up the court with our right hand and try and move the crossover into the left. And as you can see, you can do this without even using sprint. It doesn't burn adrenaline. You can do it in a lot of different ways, and it's really convenient for, once again, getting the ball up the court, or just in general, if you have a defender that's maybe, say, right at that elbow at the end of the free throw line on the right, you can just go ahead and use this crossover, get around them, and it gets you a really quick, sudden move that will get you to the hoop in a very, very manageable way. And again, it's really a good sub to this no moving behind the back, because let's say I wanted to do that against that defender. You can see it's so tight, it's so ugly, and it's so slow. That moving crossover with LeBron is a great substitute to that, and you just have to do it from a little bit further back than you would assume, because you need to create space off it. You got to make sure you don't get bumped, and the only way that you do get bumped on that is to do it way too close to the defender. You want to make sure you do it from a pretty good distance away from them, because once again, we're kind of just pretending a defender is right there on that elbow. You want to do it about like this far away from them right here at the three-point line, because you want to make sure that you're not going to end up bumping into them. So flick up on your right stick, boom, right at that three-point line. You're going to get past your defender, and especially when they're just sitting here thinking, oh, here comes a stop and go, because obviously this is the type of stuff you would see, right? Where if you have the ball in your right hand, they're protecting that stop and go right side of your like ball, obviously. So they're going to see that and think you're going to go like that, because it's a really, really easy, simple dribble move that you can just get great speed off of. It doesn't really require any skill at all, and you're going to be able to just simply do that. So when they overcompensate for that, and maybe you've hit them with it a couple times, you're going to see you're going to bait that stop and go by going right, and then boom, you can flick it over to the left with that flicking up on the right stick and getting that moving crossover. And it's just a simple little 1 or 2 adjustments dribble move that either you just can do this sig size up, boom, go to the right, or maybe bait it and then boom, go to act like you're going to the right and just cross over to the left. There's so many simple ways to dribble on these types of builds, and I wanted to mainly showcase that in today's video too. So speaking of simple dribbling, we have the Kawhi Leonard signature size up. So once again, you can see you can combo this back and forth with no handles for days. It does hurt a little bit as well, because obviously, as you can see, the dribbling is taking a pretty big toll on the build. Also, the heavier your weight, the faster you burn stamina too. So just keep that in mind. With my build being 216 pounds, that's pretty lightweight for a big man, 100%. Whereas some of you guys may be at like 250, 260. So it will be a little tough for you to dribble like that, but you don't really have to combo it too much. Again, the standstill speed boosts off like the same side ball hand with the stop and go right here are really good. So as long as you just flicked it to the direction you want to go, all you have to do is kind of just wait out the defender, and you can use this as a little bit of a rhythm dribble. You can just go ahead and read the defender. If he happens to overplay your left, boom, go right. If he happens to overplay your right, boom, go left. I mean, it's about as simple as that. So all you need to know how to do this and what I prefer to do with it. Some people may prefer to use their sig size ups differently, but I just flick down diagonal to my offhand. So with my right stick, I'm flicking down and to the right with no sprint or anything like that, because if you do it with sprint, it'll initiate your size of escape, aka the LeBron. This right here, we're just trying to use the Kawhi Leonard signature size up. So all you want to do, once again, flick down diagonal to that offhand with your right stick. It'll just do that. Once again, you can kind of just do this back and forth until you know you want to go a certain direction. And it's really quick. I would argue for 6'10", 6'11 bigs, this move's really good. And for the 7-footers, if you can afford to run it, because again, it's 65 ball handle, that's perfect for you. But if you are 7'1" or 7'2", I don't believe you can get the ball handle rating for this. Just keep that in mind. So you may be limited to something a little bit more basic than that, or maybe all you have in your bag is just stop and goes. I mean, it's still not that bad though. Like, this is still going to be great movement for you. It's just obviously you can't really factor in like the constant flipping of the ball hand, or maybe the LeBron escapes or anything like that, or even for that matter, the LeBron moving crossover. So I know today's video is a little bit more so about the 6'11s and 7-footers, but I just wanted to put a lot of this stuff on display for you guys, because I know a lot of you were asking about the dribble tutorial after seeing yesterday's gameplay, because I can definitely move on this build pretty decent. Also, one last thing I do want to showcase before we get to the final thing of the video, which is going to be the layup animations off that George Gervin. I want to showcase the LT hezzy. So like moving down the court and just hitting your LT. It's going to give you that little stutter step, and you can build really good speed out of it. So maybe you're in a rare situation where you're bringing the ball down the court and you obviously feel a little bit uncomfortable with it with your lack of ball handling, but as long as you have decent moves in your bag, you can get through this stuff. So again, The moving crossover is one of the staples that you want to have in your game. The LT Hezi can definitely give you another dribble move that could at least like maybe stun your defender a little bit, give them something else that they like haven't really looked at too much. But overall, it's not that amazing, so we're not going to spend too much time showcasing it. But anyway, what I do want to show for our last part of the video is the George Gervin layup animation and the kind of combos you can get out of this stuff. So obviously we all know the scoop animations are not exactly the greatest on layups like this. If it's on a big man, it's likely your scoop animations are not very good. I mean, as you can see, there is not a whole lot going on right there. So ideally as a big man, you're not playing for finesse, you're playing for power. But with that power comes a couple things that you can use with finesse to transition into power. So I don't advise that you use these gathers as layups, but I do love these for transitioning into dunks. So first of all, we're going to showcase the hop dunk. All you got to do for this is go ahead and just tap your X button. And I'm going to prefer to explain to you guys the X button way because that's how I use it. You can use your right stick, but I'm not really educated too much on the right stick mechanics for the hops and stuff like that and the spins because I don't really prefer to do it that way. So anyway, moving along, once again, we're going to go with the ball in our left hand. As long as you know the ball is going to be in your left hand, you can transition into your offhand by pretty much just moving your left stick to the right as you tap X. And as you can see, you can transition into a hop dunk really quickly and really cleanly. And again, it's all just about your left stick movement while tapping your X button. So tapping X is how you do these hops right here. So we just explained how to do the hop, which is just tapping your X button one time while moving your left stick to your offhand. Now, as far as the spins and euros, you're going to double tap your X button, but one is with sprint button held and one is with not. So with the spin, you're going to hold your sprint and you're going to double tap X and it'll give you those cool animations right there. As you can see, once again, George Gervin is such a fire animation at all three levels between the hops and spins especially, and then even still the euros as well. If you're more of a euro guy and you watch this video and you're not 6'10 plus, Zach LaVine's a really good euro animation. I vouch for it on my 6'9s all day, but George Gervin, so fire. We already showcased the hop dunk looking really good. We showcased the spin right here as well. Once again, with the spin, you're just going to sprint into the hoop and make sure your RT is held and double tap X. You'll get these spin dunk animations right here. You can absolutely use these to just capitalize off a defender is maybe playing one side of you really heavy. So a lot of these animations are more so for, let's say you're driving and right at that Hoff logo, the logo that's right in front of my player right there, maybe the defender is right there. You're going to spin off them to the side that maybe is away from them, and it's going to be perfect to get off them. Now, the spins are a little bit more risky. You can lose the ball on them pretty often. The hop dunks will also work for that, but it's maybe more so to get through traffic of two people. I don't like hops for trying to directionally move your player away from someone that's on your left and on your ball hand and try and get to the right over here. I think they're more so for kind of splitting defenders and maybe being more aggressive and physical with them as well. Now, for the Euro, this is also going to be, once again, something you can utilize to get away from the defender that's maybe on the side of you. But this one, I would argue, is more so for anticipating, like, maybe help defenders and stuff like that. So someone that may be coming from that left corner and you want to go ahead and just kind of get out the way of them, you can go ahead and just use it to maybe get more directionally away from them. And let's say maybe a defender is right here in the middle of the court, for instance, and maybe I'm driving to the left right here. So again, picture that defender's in the middle of the court, right at that circle, essentially. And maybe they see me driving left, so we're going to give them a little bit more opportunity to see me driving left right here. So they see this, they react to it, and as I'm driving right there, they move their body a little bit further to the left, and you can utilize this to go ahead and get around them because they're going to react to the way that you're driving. So that's my biggest interpretation on when and why to use the Euro. Again, I do believe that George Gervin animation for the Euro is still good, but I absolutely love the hop. You can see that thing is devious, moving super like horizontal and sideways. And then I love the spins as well. These spins are elite for these bigs. I mean, that's some really good distance right there and being able to capitalize off that. But yeah, just in case I didn't explain that well enough, the Euro is going to be letting go of your sprint button and double tapping X. And then you want to hold your sprint button again to get the dunk. So I'm going to showcase what happens if you don't hold the sprint after doing it. So again, just want to make sure you guys know you can't hold your sprint to initiate this Euro right here. But if you don't hold your sprint again after performing it, you're going to get that layup animation right there. So you want to make sure you get to this point right here, double tap your X button with no sprint held, and then after you double tap your X button with no sprint held, you're going to hold RT again. And you can get a dunk straight out of that. So once again, you're going to just go boom, straight like this, and then hold your RT and tap X again. I would recommend to do that as well. All right, let me just backtrack a little bit right here. So you're going to double tap X without sprint held to initiate the Euro. Then you're going to hold your sprint button again and tap your X button again to actually get the dunk animation out of it. So boom, you're sprinting, double tap X with no sprint, and then hold sprint again and tap X. The Euros are a little bit more complicated to explain, but I promise you when you actually try them, they're not physically hard to do or anything like that. It's just a little bit more steps to it, essentially. But that is how you get the Euro dunks, spin dunks, and hop dunks. And honestly, they really will provide you a really good elite level of finesse finishing as a big man, because once again, we don't have access to good behind the backs or anything like that. We don't have access to great ball hand switches or anything like that either. But yeah, just a couple refreshers as far as the animations we showcased right here. I think the KD move, like hop jumper right here, is really, really good to substitute for a moving step back. Because we have the moving step back as the normal, we're able to do stuff like this right here and get really nice kind of ball hand switches and just be able to play at your own pace moving down the court and stuff like that. So again, that one's flicking down on the right stick, and like just boom, you're gonna be able to get animations like that. It's called the Asa slide for those who want to know about the comp pro-am stuff. You'll see the best point guards in the game with 96 ball handle do stuff like this, and the fact that you can do it at 6'11 with 70 ball handle is actually a testament to 2K not actually balancing this dribble move at all. But that's my take on that. And then once again, we have the LeBron moving crossover. We got the Bron like size up escape. We got the Kawhi sig size up as well. All this stuff is really viable and really good as far as getting you solid animations to work with. So that is our dribble tutorial for the 6'10, 6'11 pluses. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you'd free to drop a like, sub, new, turn on noties, all good stuff. And like always, try to win 2,000 likes. If you made it to the end of the video, put big in the comments or put dribble to show your support all the way through. Anyway, that is all. I hope you guys enjoyed. Again, if you want to check out the Rec Center gameplay and like really me using a lot of these dribble moves live, and especially the sig size up and the LeBron crossover, those were absolutely getting used at a really consistent rate, and it's probably my two biggest staples as far as the dribble moves go. That goes for anything too though. I mean, whether it's the fact that I use the Russell Westbrook moving crossover and the pro behind the back on my main build, or again, the fact that you can still utilize the Rayford Alston signature size up on my main build too. Sig size ups and moving crossovers are my two biggest staples as far as dribbling goes. So it's just something that naturally happens on 6'11 builds as well, and there's still good animations too. I would argue actually great animations still. So anyway, that is all. Like I said, if you want to check out that rec gameplay, feel free to. But other than that, hope you enjoyed. Take it easy, man. Peace.